So, initially tonight, I was going to make my first hyper jump. I was pretty sure I had everything in readiness. I was going to upgrade. Basically, I had decided to keep my small craft, the Zumiokina S38 with its, with its smaller. I mean, it's a scouting craft rather than a hauler, than I don't know what they're calling these, a freighter. I've always loved the ship that I am now precariously perched right beside the fuselage of as well. But what I had found between these two, the short version is I'm not going to be jumping tonight. I burned through all of my plutonium and my iron, upgrading the grasshopper, and learned a few weird things in the meantime. So every time I've upgraded the grasshopper 2 times now, and I now have the price jumps. I've been tracking the offering costs, the offers made when I've encountered these ships as I've gone, in order to calculate the cost per slot in order to identify a good deal. And so, okay, this post is going to be, this entry is going to be a lot of staring at this fuselage and discussion of the underbelly of the logic and the gameplay mechanics of No Man's Sky, the economics of the AI, etc. So, every time I've gone to upgrade, made a jump in slots, of course, the same ships, the same half dozen ships show up and sort of offer you their wares over and over again. And every time I've upgraded, when the same ship has shown up again later, it has had both a jump in slots and a massive jump in cost. As an example, the grasshopper, the Zumiokina S38, the ship I've been flying this whole time, the Mark I, I think I didn't mark which one I purchased. Unfortunately, I've done that with the Mark II. I think it was probably, we'll say it was this one. Well, I know the number of slots, and it was 21, so it was this one. I purchased it with 21 slots at 810,000 units, which is 39 units per slot. A bargain, really. But the 21 slots filled up quickly, of course. As they started to come back, in fact, the moment I went back on the deck, of course, my friend Captain Hias, the Gek merchant or pirate who sold me the craft, showed up with another one, of course, appropriately priced to my growth and capacity. That one landed at the price of 1,884,000 for 25 slots, only 4 more slots, at a cost of 75 units per slot. Now, I'm going to jump to the chase and say eventually I actually purchased that size. I skipped a 24 slot at a bargain price, the lowest price I'd seen, because they kept, once you start negotiating with them, they start landing, and it's the same. It's weird, I mean, if I were to, if we try to, there's no logic to it, but it's as if they were quantum echoes of the same sales, the same pilot landing and offering you again and again because they know you're interested, right? So the point of all this is, while that was going on, I was also pricing the Zumiokina S38, and it's always been well out of reach. I won't go through the prices, but once again, when I bought the Mark II of the Zumiokina S38, the grasshopper, the Zumiokina showed up, of course, with a giant jump. And it has always been priced about like twice, at least twice plus what my max income is. So it's as if I would never ever reach it. Now, and so I've, you know, upgraded the grasshopper. I've grown to enjoy, I've grown fond of it. It's really been good for exploring this system. I think it would really be great in a jump. But, you know, I'm also fond of this ship here. And I kind of got burned in the last sale, you know, the one I purchased, the 25 slot, because it landed right next to me where I was negotiating with the 24 slotter, and I let him go and walked 10 feet away and talked to the 25 slotter, and it was a jump in price from a significant jump in price from my last tracked price for the grasshopper. And when I turned around, of course, you know, my chance was gone. My chance for a bargain was gone. That bargain might have really helped me make up sort of lost ground. So I was a little annoyed and perturbed. And then, of course, meanwhile, the Zumiokina continues to go up in price. One thing I've learned is that as long as you stand snug up against the ship, it's not going to go anywhere, and you can continue negotiating with him. Now, this is leading somewhere, believe me. The last, when I bought the Mark II, a funny thing happened. I was down at home base on at the trading post, examining these two ships, you know, and versions of the a version of the Zumiokina landed that had 10 slots. This was last time around when the average number of slots this thing had was 25 slots, 26, 24, at, you know, 1.5, 1.8, 1.9. Oh, no, that's the Geochief. The Zumiokina was more like 36 slots, 35, at 11.6, 11.5, 10.5. The cheapest, 7.5 at 33 slots. Now, right near the end there, a model landed, you know, and they all have the same fuselage. And presumably the idea is, once you purchase it, you can upgrade it based on the number of slots. I'm trying to stay tucked in there so he doesn't leave. One landed with 10 slots at a cost of 19,000, I believe it was. No. Well, maybe it was 190. Honestly, I mean, I might have miswritten it because I was a little stunned. And it came down to like 2 or 20, you know, units per slot, either of which is a bargain, crazy bargain. And it disappeared forever. It was an anomaly. When I purchased when I finally, you know, sort of in a bit of frustration tonight, because you know, it ate up a chunk of change. Uh-oh. Wrong pages. What's going on? Come on. It's a story here, I promise you. When I finally purchased the Mark II, a Geochief S38 for 1.939 thousand units. Million? I don't know, 1.93 million. Cost per slot was 78. And, you know, I went with it. But I, you know, went with it realizing that this ship would forever be out of my reach. That seemed to be the deal. Now, so I did that, and I went about trying to recoup my losses to get ready to jump. I wanted to make my first jump tonight. I had all the materials, etc. And when I finally got back up here, I realized I had gathered too little surplus of plutonium and iron. I'm not going to make a jump unprepared. I'm not, you know, when I've spent so much time laying the groundwork and this kind of thing. So I need to gather more. A lot of it, of course, now I can gather in my suit. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. the Zumiokina began landing again immediately. The Ageo Chief has been a little more coy. He's landed in bursts and then disappeared for a while. So this gets to the generative, you know, I mean, the AI is playing mind games basically. I'm sure, you know, there's an algorithm behind when they show up, how long they stay, how many of them come, how the prices fluctuate. But here's the weird part. Okay, I'll finally get to the point. So I started pricing these guys out diligently because that's, you know, what I'm just doing, because my thought was I would jump with the grasshopper, do a little this and that, and maybe eventually when I got, you know, billions and billions of units, be able to come back and finally grab the Zumiokina. And I really like both ships equally. I don't know how this guy handles that kind of thing, but, you know, I like how they both look and feel in terms of like me. And I've gotten to explore a lot with the grasshopper. Plus, I was already originally planning to park it here, and sort of in retirement, remember I had said, and buy this guy. But when I went to look at how the price ramp was going, I was like, that's never going to happen. No way, it's gone forever. Here's the deal. Started pricing it out. First one that showed up in the bay, of course, was 18,173,000 with 39 slots at a cost of 466 per slot. Right? It's like, all right, that's great. I mean, now you're just, you know, insulting me. So I was getting my stuff ready to head back down to the surface and, you know, do what I had to do to get ready. And this guy flew in, and I came in and I talked to him. And let's go ahead and have a chat with him now. Our friend here, Trade Envoy Mundarger. Gekjoy is clearly trading. And let's take a look at his ship. This is weird. Okay. So what we have here is a hyperdrive equipped 14 slaughter. And it's at 110.3. Now, let's do the quick math. Actually, I haven't even done this yet because I was a little too stunned. 110 doesn't even round up, divided by 14. That's 8 units a slot. Now, obviously, as you upgrade, so here's basically the temptation, right? Is I could grab this, get in there, use it a little, upgrade it immediately to the next model and the next model and the next model, each of which should be 4 or so slots larger, and ultimately get myself to where I was, you know, where I am now, which is at Mark III here has 25 slots. Or I could let it go. And if I let it go, I will promise you, I will never see it again. Like I'm saying, I don't know what the underpinning is, but these things are really, really playing with us. And it's cool. It's cool that this is even possible. It's cool this exists. Like, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, talk about playing for a long time in your home system. I really did want to jump tonight. I really did. But I'm going to be here a little longer. And honestly, Kainadren is a pretty forgiving place to build yourself up. So I don't know what to do. But at the same time, I feel like what I should do is exactly what I said I would do originally, which is save. Now, I didn't anticipate it would happen with a giant back jump from which you build yourself up again. But, you know, it gives the possibility of testing the idea that if you have a large, and by the way, I feel like I should never again hold more than 5 billion units. Is that 1,000 million billion? I don't even, I'm bad at, you know, 371 million, no, I'm sorry, 4 million, I'm a dork, 4,371,000 units, right? I feel like I should never go much higher than 5 million because it's when I do that the prices of the ships, when I have that excess, that the prices of the ships begin to escalate as they come in. So that's, I don't know what's up with that, but imagine your latitude if it's like buying, you know, it's like being a millionaire and buying a Pinto, or not a Pinto, I mean that's not going to mean anything to anyone, you know, like a Toyota or whatever, like a Kia. It's actually a lot like buying a Kia. It kind of looks like a Kia. That's why I like it. I like my Kia. Anyway, and I'm not, you know, I mean, like, I just have to. Anyway, so I was telling a friend earlier tonight that it feels to me sometimes, and no one's going to have listened long enough to hear this, but if you are and have, and if you get the reference, I think you might find it cute as well, or funny, at least I sure do. It feels sometimes like No Man's Sky is like Oregon Trail designed by HAL 9000 from 2001. It is a weird game, and things happen, and the AI does things and throws up things and offers you things like this situation that are absolutely unexpected and completely bizarre and have their own bizarre internal logic to them. And I don't understand it. But I find it extremely cool and extremely interesting. You know, like no matter what you're doing, you could play to an end game on your home world. That's, believe me, not my plan, but I tell you what, I am 80% sure that what I'm about to do, because it has been a weird night, so why not make it a weirder night? What I'm about to do is save this game on a chip, on a card, on a flash. Save the and without moving, mind you, because look, you know, look at the deal here. Let's compare. Actually, I would have a little bit of work to do. And actually, well, I'm close enough to my ship that I could probably move stuff back. I mean, I was ready to go, right? But everything in its place, I think I can do it, and I think it would be really interesting to try. I have grown to love the grasshopper, and I've grown to feel like I'm never going to get to fly the other ship. I've grown to kind of admire, you know, or love from a distance. Covet, I guess, is really the word. The Zumiokina here, the Zumiokina. Anyway, and these are all just generated names. I don't even know why I bother, but that's what it's called, right? It's like the Millennium Falcon with a list of words long enough. The Millennium Falcon could easily have been a generative name, right? So why not call the ship by its rightful name and go from there? I think I might do it, and I'll let you know if I do. But for now, I'm not only am I not jumping, I'm also in for a different end of the evening than I think I thought I was. And this is a really weird game. So I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for playing.